the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, take the roll.
Mayor O'Connor.
Here.
Morissette.
Here.
Wakefield. Here. Knutson. Here. Kennedy.
Here.
Brooke. Hall.
Here.
All right, first thing up, comments and suggestions from citizens present. This is your opportunity to talk about any subject that you would like that is not currently on tonight's agenda. If you have something to say, please come to the podium, identify yourself and your address. Keep your comments brief, please, and try not to repeat other people's comments. Does anybody have a comment? Yvonne, anything? Anybody have?
Thank you all for all the work you're putting in with a new administrator and all of the work that you do. I really appreciate all of it.
All right, great, thank you, I appreciate that. Any comment? Any comment? Any comment? Hearing none, we will close that portion of the agenda. Consent agenda.
Approve the meeting minutes from February 19th, 2024 regular council meeting and the February 20th, 2024 special council meeting. Approve the claims in the amount of $15,813,725.67. Approve AEDs for police squad cars. Approve police computer replacement. And approve the contract with Res Pyro in the amount of $25,000 for the 2024 fireworks to be held at Lakefront Park on Sunday, July 7th, 2024.
That's
Should we
28.
change 28?
$28,000.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion and second to approve, roll call.
Morissette.
Yes.
Wakefield.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Motion's approved, consent agenda is approved. New business, Public Works Committee update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had requested an agenda item tonight just to give an update to all of us as elected officials and also just to the public and local residents and property owners. We have been discussing the issue with emerald ash borer and the removal of trees in Hudson at both Public Works committee meeting in January, and then the Urban Forestry Committee just met a week or so ago to discuss that. Also, I just thought I'd give an update. A lot of phone calls are coming into City Hall, handled by the Public Works Director and his executive assistant, asking about when is my tree going to be taken down and what's going on, or why are all the trees gone, when are we going to replace them? So that's partly what I just wanted to let people know, kind of the overall plan that's in place. And actually, Hudson was used quite a bit of foresight back in the day. I think it was in 2011 when we first hired an outside consultant to evaluate the trees in town. We have a tremendous number of ash trees in Hudson. There was a time when they were quite economical to plant, and lots of them were planted. There's a few streets in town where it's basically a row of ash trees that we will eventually lose, unfortunately. So that was in 2011, and at that time, city staff implemented a program to start treating them. And it is possible to implement treatment as a prevention against the emerald ash borer, but by 2018, it was clear that that organism is here in our community. It is a parasite of the tree. And, you know, you can see there was a tree, excuse me, in my neighborhood of Laurel, 17th and Laurel, recently, that it looked like it was shedding like a dog or a cat would. It was like just chunks of bark falling off of the tree. And thankfully, the staff has had a chance to remove that. So we kind of want to update you where we are right now. When we started with 1,400 ash trees initially, again, 10 to 12, 13 years ago, right now we're down to only 350 ash trees still remaining in Hudson. And there is a plan in place to remove them, but as always, money is an issue in moving forward. We have, in the last 2 years, we've had some help from Mother Nature in selecting trees that needed to come down. Unfortunately, with 2 big windstorms, you know, let alone back in 2021. But this year, in fact, our Public Works Director, Mike Mraz, has had to execute 2 disaster relief applications to the state of Wisconsin, which we were successful in getting that disaster money, which is very important to us because huge impact on the budget. The storms that happened, you know, snowstorm in April, and then the sort of straight line winds that occurred in July, which were so difficult. So many trees, what they discovered is many of the trees that had high broken limbs at that time actually were infected with the ash borer. They may not have been on the high list, but yet once they were damaged, they're no longer safe. So that was the initial approach last summer and fall, is to get these unsafe trees cut down, because when they have a big branch that's hanging, that could fall at any time on someone's car or a school child on the sidewalk. So we have contracted with outside services, as you recall last summer, quite a few outside, or we have a particular vendor that we work with. Our typical budget for the city of Hudson is only $35,000 a year to deal with this issue. About 15,000, I don't know, Mike just told me this number, roughly 15,000 goes to contracting with outside vendors when it's a tree that's really quite big, quite large, we need specialized equipment. But we also have a certain amount budgeted, about 20,000, for our in-house staff to remove trees. So that's job one, is to remove them, because some of them are going to be unsafe and unsightly. This spring, once things start leafing out again, you're going to see those really unsightly ones, because up at the crown, there's going to probably be several branches that there's no leaves on. So that's a severely affected ash tree. Fortunately, our staff is very resilient, and Mike Ross had them working since they haven't been dealing with ice and snow so much this winter. They've been out taking down the trees that are in their skill set to remove. And so you'll see a lot of stumps in town. There's a process for removing them in a way that actually kills the roots so the tree does not grow back. The issue of replanting, that's definitely on people's minds when people call into City Hall. When are we going to get new trees planted? There's not a significant budget available for that right now, so that is something that the council, that is another reason I wanted to report to you directly, is we may need to decide as a council to set aside some funding in a CIP, a larger chunk of money, to get ahead of this, start planting trees again. I mean, the public is definitely asking for that. That's one of the things we're proud about in Hudson, is the tree canopy and how pretty it is. And so we have to get started getting the new trees planted. But at this point, we don't have a lot of budget for that, and we do need to address the removal first. So again, we're down to our last 350 trees. Just one other quick mention, of course, there'll be an Arbor Day festivities at the end of April, and our Urban Forestry Board is very knowledgeable and diligent and active in the community year-round, but especially this month as they're planning activities for Arbor Day. And there's kind of a swell, again, part of the loss of the trees in Hudson has led to people saying, what can we do? And the Daybreak Rotary Club is hosting or handling a tree sale again this year. They did that 2 years ago. And so the Urban Forestry Board decided to partner with them, or to encourage our purchases there. So you can go, residents or anyone can go on the website, Hudson Daybreak, Rotary.org, I believe, and you have till the end of March to order. These are going to be bare root tree stock, very easy to plant because they're bare root, and quite healthy. They come from Bailey's. They'll be picked up at Willow River Tree Farm. So you're looking at some quality tree stock available at a good price. One thing also that is possible for people who want to plant. So of course residents can plant on their own property. They need to have, digger's hotline or whatever marking safe areas. It is also possible to plant and replace a tree if your neighborhood lost several on the boulevard. But you need to contact City Hall about that and make sure where it is planted that it's safe. There's no underground utilities that are an issue, but neighbors can actually go together and buy a tree to start that process quicker in their neighborhood. The city this summer, especially with the seasonal crew, will be doing some of the stump grinding and removal, because of course that's one of the bigger parts of the job too, is just getting the root structure out. So that will be going on hopefully with city staff, especially with our seasonal crew in the summer. But that option also exists through the Daybreak Rotary. If you don't have a place to plant a tree at home, you can donate money and donate it to a Hudson Park or a school or some other options that they provide. So again, we're really trying to encourage and partner with them, or encourage their good work that they're doing through that organization. Joyce, I know you're a member of Hudson Daybreak Rotary, that the more purchased trees can improve our city, and people can also, if they don't have a spot for it, donate money to one of our parks, and our staff will see that it's planted in a great location. So that was my only report. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you. Daybreak Rotary is also partnering, I think, with the high school students to do some planting.
Yes, you're right, Joyce. I think that's on the Daybreak website, that if you want to buy a tree but you don't think you can plant it yourself, there's some high school students, so it's kind of neat. They're going to be teaching them how to plant the tree appropriately, and so that's a nice, very nice option.
All right, anybody else? Okay, thank you, Joy, appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you, Joyce. I don't have anything, anybody?
I do have one thing, Mr. Mayor, that I would like to bring forward for future agenda. Can I discuss it now? Sorry to be talking so much. The item that I would like to bring forward, I would like the council to work on updating our ordinances that govern the Board of Appeals. Can reference Mr. Vivian, our city attorney, has brought forward at least one point to the Board of Appeals, and there have been some questions about matching our ordinance to the state. The state statute, I believe, was changed in the not too distant past, and we haven't changed our ordinance since the state changed. So there's some issues there about how many votes need to be taken. Am I correct? Am I saying that right?
That's correct. Yeah, it was 2005 when the state
Is that
law
when the
changed.
state changed it? And so we have not updated ours, and I take that as good input and good advice. And in looking at the state statute, I found a couple other areas that I thought, for example, we do not define what a quorum is in our city ordinances. So we certainly should comply with what the state does, but I think we can also do other things to provide structure. I am, in my proposed ordinance, I'm mentioning the specific requirement for training. I know that's been discussed, that it's available and encouraged. And I just think the people who serve on the Board of Appeals undertake a very serious role. They operate in a quasi-judicial manner, which means it's supposed to be like a courtroom in the way that they handle the presentation, deliberate, make their decisions, record their decisions. And for example, if they were to make a decision, neither the Plan Commission nor the City Council could override that. Even us as elected officials, zoning changes can't be made without us doing that. But if they just decide to declare a variance, we can't, that's just how it's set up in the state. Am I correct, Mike, in how I'm explaining that? And I've learned everything from you, thank you, so far, pretty much. But anyway, so I have prepared something to send home with people. I'd like to ask for it to be on a future meeting. Perhaps you want to assign it to a committee. Mr. O'Connor, I don't know how you'd like to handle it. What I have for handouts here are the first couple sections are from our current zoning code, chapter 14, and then chapter 2, which is just organization of committees and boards, and then chapter 255 was under zoning. So I've provided copies of how it is right now, and then I've also provided the draft that Mr. Vivian presented to the Board of Appeals. You'll see issue sheet from Emily Bowles from the department, Community Development Department. And then the final one is the ordinance that I'm proposing. I see that my printer is running out of ink at home, so hope you can read it. These red line documents are always a little tricky, but there is a key at the top of the document that I have provided that shows, I pretty much put everything in that Mr. Vivian had already suggested, but then also some additional. So if that's confusing, you can certainly ask me, but I'm sure, so I'm gonna just hand these out to you, and we'll send them home with people. And again, Mr. Mayor, if you would consider putting that on a future agenda. I think obviously it's an important issue for us here in Hudson. We're getting advice in that direction that we should be matching the state, and I just think we should try to really make sure that the members of the Board of Appeal, it's a big job to ask them to serve on it, and that they feel prepared and supported and fully understand their role. So I have taken to specifying what a quorum would be and so on. So thank you for that.
And Plan Commission does zoning code.
They do also. Okay, so we'll have some input from various sources and what I just wanted to put my ideas forward tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. All right, anybody else? Motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion, second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.